Good evening. We are a few minutes early. We'll start the webinar in 3 minutes. You can get your tea, coffee, whatever you like to have at this time. And we'll get started in 3 minutes. If you haven't done so already, please go into settings and put in your name. So everyone in the class will be able to see your name. And yeah, we'll start in 2 minutes now. Okay, very good evening and welcome to Digital Vidya's webinar series on email marketing. Before I start, I'm going to quickly run through a list of the names of the people that I can see. There are 19 people in the room. I can see Anudeep, Bijoy, Bismita, Dhruv Srivastav, Gaurav, Kavya Verma, Kinjal Mehta, Mamta Singh, Manoj, Mishma, Preetam, Raghunath, Saswata, Santosh, Solomon Daniel, and Sri Vidya. If I haven't called out your name, that's because I can't see it. You will need to go into settings, the settings menu, and put in your name. So, hello, hi everyone who said hi. And are we ready to get started? So, before we start, a few things I'd like to tell you. You may want to get a pen and paper and keep it handy. You'll see why. So, you can take 30 seconds and do that while the people who are still putting in their names go in and fill in their names. There's one person whose name is still not visible. The other person, I think, is Rakshit. Welcome in. Hello. I also know that you've been sent the expectations form. Some of you have filled it already, and I've had a chance to look at it. If you haven't done so already, once the session gets over, please go into your mailbox, look for the expectation form link, and fill it in because that's going to help me understand your background, your expectations, and bring in examples and cases that will help you. Okay, this session will go on till 9:30 p.m. India time. So please plan to be there for the entire duration of the session. We'll not continue beyond that. But the session is also being recorded. So if someone comes in late or maybe leave a little early for some reason, not to worry, the recording will be shared with you. You can always go through the recording and make up on anything that you missed. All right, so shall we get started? Okay. So, my name is Ramya Pandian, and I will be your webinar trainer for the next 4 weeks. We are going to have 8 sessions, two every week on Tuesday and Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. India time. This means that for each of these sessions, you will be sent a link just like today, and you log in just like you have right now. And I will be taking you through a presentation which you listen to and you watch. And we'll do a few things. We may have activities, there'll be videos for you to watch, and there's a bunch of things that you should be doing during the week, which I will be taking you through. Today's session is essentially an orientation where I'll talk to you about exactly how this course will work, email marketing, what you can expect to learn, when you will learn it, how you will learn it, what are the resources available to you. and what will be expected from you. But before we go ahead, an introduction to me. This is me. I am an MBA. I have been working for over 16 years. I started off as a management professional, a consultant working for Deloitte Touche Tohmatsu in their strategy and operations department. I then moved on to the Nielsen Basis company where I spent 4 years consulting with MNCs like Unilever and Reckitt Benckiser on their new launches, new product launches. Independently, I also started blogging in 2004, which makes me one of India's earliest bloggers. I still blog, and this journey has turned into a career really because of blogging. I was also one of the early adopters on Twitter and Facebook when each of them came to India. In 2009, I quit corporate employment, and I've been on my own since then largely. I've written freelance for publications like Femina and Marie Claire. 50 of my articles have been licensed by Yahoo for their microsite for Dove. I've consulted with Asian Paints internal teams for 2 years and created content for their internal blog. And these blog posts were turned into a book as well, available for their employees. I set up the content team for an agency called Social Wavelength, which is now a JW Thompson company called Miram India. I've also consulted for digital ventures like PriceBaba.com and Net Monastery and Cypherspace. I've been conducting webinars at Digital Vidya for a little short of 2 years now. So I've done over 200 webinars. I teach email marketing as part of the regular CDMM module. In addition to this, I also take special sessions on online reputation management, blogging, and content creation. So that's a little bit about me. I do want to hear about all of you. So, what we're going to do is after the session is over, you're going to be going in and filling in your expectations form, which I will read before our next meeting. And while you're going through the session, maybe you can give me a two-line bio about yourself. Tell me, sorry about that. Tell me, what are you currently doing? Which industry? What department? And any background in digital. And what have you already completed in Digital Vidya's CDMM module? I've shared the questions in the chat window. Maybe you can just use that as a reference point and start typing in your answers. This will help me understand you a little better because we're going to be interacting a lot in the next month. So it'll be great if I know a little bit about you. So what will be great is one request if you can put in all your answers in the same message because there are now 21 people in the class. If you say your name in one message and then what you're doing in another message and then your department in a third, it'll get all jumbled up, you'll see. So it'll be great if you can just type it in the same message. So Gaurav, if you can tell me all of those in the same message, that'll be great. Thank you. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what today's session is going to be about. So today is really about setting expectations, what you can expect to get from this module. Uh, I'll be taking you through some rules and requirements. These have been shared with you already on email, but I think it'll just work better if I explain to you why these rules are in place. These processes and rules are in place after a lot of thought from the Digital Vidya team because we found this is the best way for us to impart this knowledge to you. We want you to get the best out of this program, and a lot of us have worked very hard to bring you a really excellent up to date module on this. So we request that you cooperate with these rules because then it'll work much better for you. We also have a whole library of resources available, which I'm going to be taking you through. I will touch on the lesson plan today so you can see what you're going to be covering, exactly what we are going to be covering in every one of our sessions. And then I'll go on to bust a few email marketing myths. That's great. Please keep it coming. I can see some of you have already started putting in your answers. I'm going to go down and scroll back and read these in a couple of minutes. Okay? Now, how do we do this? I'm going to first start off by giving you a video to watch. Does everyone here like movies? I'm going to let you watch a movie while I go back and read your answers. Do you all like movies? This is a very short movie. It's only 2 minutes. So please click on the link that I've shared in the chat window. And when you're done, come back and say done in the chat window. In the meantime, I'm going to read what you've told me. Please watch the video and come back and tell me when you're done. Okay, is everyone done with the video? I'm going to continue responding to all of you in a bit. I have another video coming up. Do come back. You can continue this video in a bit. So the reason I like to start the sessions with, so Saswata, why don't you watch the video once we are done? I do need to proceed. So you have the link now. You can watch it after the session is over. Okay. In sum, this is a clipping from a movie called The Karate Kid, which came out in the 1980s. And I think it contains a very, very useful point, which is that when you're trying to learn something, the way it is being taught may not always make sense to you. But if you can go along and trust the person who is teaching you, then you might learn something and you might even have a little fun. So that's just to set the reference for the webinars and your sessions with me. When I ask you to do something or maybe not do something, my invitation to you is that you trust me and go along with it, and all will be revealed very soon. Can we do that? Can you trust me for 1.5 hours, twice a week, every week for 4 weeks? Yeah? Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to try and make this as entertaining as possible for you because I think that if you are entertained, then you will remember the lessons very well. I find that the things that I remember are the ones where I had fun learning, not where I put in a lot of struggle and mehnat and effort. So I'm going to try and do my best to make it as interesting for you, but I can only do that if I have your cooperation in that, which is the reason why we have these things that don't sound very nice called rules. But that's why I'm here to make those also sound like fun. So let's look at what's going to happen. First of all, I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about the people who are going to be delivering this course for you. It's not just me. There are a whole bunch of us, and each of us takes on a very specific task. So it's not just one person here. And if you're having any kind of issues whatsoever, or you have any kind of needs from this program that you think are not being met, or you're just really impatient to know when will this get addressed, how will it get addressed, I want to take you through exactly who's responsible for what so that you can accordingly reach the right person. The first person that you need to know is me. I'm your trainer. My role is to conduct webinars. You will be meeting with me twice a week for 4 weeks, which is for the next 1 month. You'll be talking to me, interacting with me through the webinar only, not through the rest of the week. But to make up for that, that doesn't mean Digital Vidya has forgotten. You have a very, very important person called a coordinator. So, quick question, does everyone here know their coordinator? Do you know how to reach your coordinator? Is there anybody who's not sure who their coordinator is? Yeah, so all of you know your coordinators, right? Your coordinators do a fantastic job of keeping in touch with you. Your coordinator is your go-to person in Digital Vidya. You can reach out to them with any query, any request, any complaint, any issue, anything at all you have regarding the program. So if, for example, you find you're not able to attend a particular webinar, maybe something urgent has come up, speak to your coordinator, let them know. They will ensure that maybe you can request and they will try and get you on a different schedule so that you don't have to miss the webinar. Your coordinator is also the person who is sending you the links. They will share the recordings with you, they will send you resources and forms and all of this. So any requests at all. In addition to this, there are these things called special sessions. Once again, your coordinator will be the person who makes them known to you. And if at any point of time you have any questions or requests or doubts, you can just shoot them an email and they'll respond. Every person who's part of Digital Vidya, whether as a trainer or as a participant, has their coordinator, has their individual coordinator contact. So if you know your coordinator, then you're set in a strong relationship with Digital Vidya. And finally, let's remember that this is happening on the internet. A webinar is an online seminar, which means that there may be technical glitches that happen. You may not be able to hear me clearly sometimes. You may not be able to see the screen sometimes, and these can happen for a number of reasons. There are a few things you can do to ensure that these don't happen. First of all, try logging in from a computer or a laptop rather than a tablet device or a mobile phone, because we find that it's generally a lot clearer when you're using a computer than any of the other devices. Secondly, please shut down all other programs other than GoToMeeting. I may ask you to open a Word document or an Excel document. I may, but other than that, you don't really need anything. You only really need to log into GoToMeeting and listen to the webinar. Listen and watch the webinar. Other than this, please make sure to have a strong internet connection. But even with all of these precautions, sometimes connections can fluctuate. I'm not sitting in the Digital Vidya office. I'm sitting in Mumbai in my own office, and all of us are connected from different parts of the world through very, very similar ways of connecting. All of you would have received a link, clicked on that link, put in your password, and come into the room. That's exactly how I've come in as well. So if any one of us faces an issue, there is a team standing by to help you, and that team is the support team. There is a support number for this, which I'm going to share with you in the chat window. The support number is 80810 Please take a minute and note down this number. This number is also there in all the emails that your coordinator sends to you, including the one with the sign up link to this webinar. In addition to all of these, you will always find the phone number on the top right hand corner of every one of my slides. So if you're unable to answer, if you're unable to hear or see my screen, or if you face a lag, what you need to do is call this number. Can we do that? Because sometimes we have participants saying on the chat window, I can't hear, I can't hear, I can't hear, and I can't really do anything about that. The support team is the one that will be able to do something, but only if you reach out to them and let them know. Okay, so has everyone got the number? Okay, excellent. So these are the people that you need to know. Let's take a look at how the webinar goes on. Okay, have any of you participated in any webinars before Digital Vidya? I know we've got a mix of people who've, some of you, this is your first time in a Digital Vidya webinar. Some of you have completed all the other modules. Okay, so great. I'm going to explain how a webinar happens. And even for those of you who already completed other CDMM modules, do listen in, because every trainer has their own way of doing a webinar series. So this is how my webinars happen. There'll be 8 sessions, Tuesdays and Thursdays for 4 weeks. They'll happen from 8 o'clock to 9:30 p.m. We'll always start on time, and we're going to try and end sharp at 9:30, because I'm not allowed to take it longer than that. If you get delayed, try and be on time. But if you get delayed, don't worry, go through the recording. I will not be able to stop and delay or recap for people who come in late. I'm sorry about that. But the recording is available to you. And if you miss too much of the session, you can always ask your coordinator and request to sit in on another batch. Okay. So the webinar will primarily be a lesson that I'll take you through. I'll be sharing my window just like this with a PowerPoint or a Google slide, and you'll be able to see all the things. There'll be some words on the slide. Sometimes I might ask you to watch a video like I just did. I might give you an article to read maybe later. I might give you a little activity to do in between. These will all be part of the lesson. The lesson will go on till 9:15. And at 9:15, if all goes well, then we'll open it up for an interactive session. So while we are going through this, you will have questions. What I would like you to do is make a note of those questions in your notebooks and bring it up in the interactive session. There are 2 reasons why I will not be able to address questions midway. The first reason is that all of you have very different backgrounds, and you're coming from very, very different places in your professional lives, which means that some of you will breeze through certain things quickly, and some of you may want a little more time on something. And I'm happy to spend that time with each of you, but we are not going to delay the whole class for it. So if we can move through till 9:15, at 9:15, I'll take up whatever questions you have and repeat whichever slides you want to. Don't worry that if you don't get something, you will not understand what comes after this. Email marketing is not like that. In a few rare cases where you absolutely need to understand this before moving ahead, I will take any questions that you have to at that point. But these are rare. Most of it, there are lots of different things to learn in email marketing. Just stay with me in the pace, go with the class, keep your question handy, and bring it up at 9:15. Okay? Just in case you find you're not able to note down your question, you can make a note of the slide number. There is a slide number in the bottom right hand corner of every slide. If we finish on time, and if, for example, you don't have any questions, what do we do at 9:15? Well, you're welcome to leave if you want to, but then you might miss out something called a knowledge check. A knowledge check is a completely optional thing that I bring up to my webinars. This is in case there are no questions. I have a few discussion points that I bring up based on the lesson that we've just covered, which I'll ask you and you can tell me your answers. They may be minor case studies, they may be memory checks, they may be just, have you considered this? What do you think of this? I promise you it's a lot of fun. So this is only if you don't have any questions of your own. Then I'll take you through some discussions for 15 minutes. And at 9:30, we'll wrap up that session. What are the things that you need to do? Let's remember that this is a master's level program, which means that there is a lot of work that you will need to do. This is a professional course in a field that is changing every day. I've been in the field before it even had a name, and even I really literally struggle to keep up with it. I spend hours every day reading, watching videos, going through infographics just to keep up with my chosen field. If you want to be really good and extract maximum value out of this program and all the time and money you've invested in this, these are some things that you'll need to do. First of all, please attend the webinars because there is something to having it live. You can always watch the recordings, but if possible, try and attend it live because participants have told us that it's a lot better when you're actually attending it live. Participate in the in-webinar activities. I'm not going to enforce anything on you. This is all completely voluntary and optional. But if I give you a video to watch, watch it. If I ask you to go and look at a link, if I ask you to count something, calculate something, do it because these are all minor ways in which you get to do certain things on your own and you'll get a lot more out of this program. Engage in the interactive session at the end because believe me, I have sat through 3-hour webinars. I know that it gets very heavy just listening to someone. The interactive session is where you get to get hands on about it, get interactive, and make sense of what you've listened to. After the webinars are over, read the notes. There are notes available to you, and I'm going to show you where you can find these. Go through the webinar recordings. Even if you have attended the webinar, during the course of the weekend, watch the 2 recordings of the 2 webinars that have gotten over because you'll find that there are things that you didn't catch properly the first time round, or there are things that you wanted repeated, which you can just watch the video on your own time and pause as you want to, and you'll make sense of it. Go through all the reading links. So every day, like I said, I go through a lot of blogs and magazines and journals to try and keep up with what's happening. Whenever I see something interesting, I usually bring it to my webinars and I share the link in the chat window. That's not for you to sit and read it at that moment because it'll be too heavy for you to read and listen to me. That's for you to read later. So please do read it afterwards. This is all extra reading for you. And engage in the discussion forums. I'm going to explain what the discussion forums are in a minute. Any questions so far? Everybody with me? Yeah, okay, excellent. Now, does everyone here know how to log into the LMS? The LMS is the Digital Vidya Learning Management System. I'm going to open the LMS. It's digitalvidya.com/learn. When you go there, you will be asked for your login ID. If you are a participant or a trainer, you have your login ID for Digital Vidya and your logins will work for your lifetime. These are lifetime access. So as long as Digital Vidya exists, all these resources are available to you. It's not like once this month is over, all this will vanish. All of this is available to you. When you log in, you'll see all the courses that you've signed up for. This one is the Certified Email Marketing Master Course. When you go into it, the first thing that you find is pre-reading material. Let's click on that. Have any of you already had a chance to download and read this? Anybody here? It's okay if you haven't. If you haven't, just go in here, click on this, and you will be able to download this. It's 46 pages, but don't worry, those of you who don't like to read, it includes a lot of charts and graphs. That's why it's 46 pages. It's downloadable. Please download it and go through it before our next session. And once you've done that, mark this as complete so that the DV team can track your progress. Okay? So that's the first task for you to do after that's task number 2 for you to do after the webinar is over. Task number 1 is to fill up the expectations form. Let's go back here. What do we have other than pre-reading material? There's lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, and additional content. Why there are only 4 lessons? Because 1 lesson for each week. You have 2 webinars in every week because the lesson for that week is split over 2 webinars. The first week is email marketing orientation and deliverability. Let's click on it. When you go into it, here's the reading notes that you can download. I do want to let you know that these are different from the presentation that I'll be taking you through. The presentation I'm taking you through will not be shared with you. That's under copyright. But don't worry, everything that I will be talking through in the webinar is available for you in notes format under deliverability. The only thing that you're seeing with me in this presentation is it's in a more PowerPoint friendly way, whereas the notes are in a more readable way. Okay? And this is freely available for you to download. Please go through that because you'll see it's been worded a little differently from how I have covered it. Here are the recordings. In addition to the recording you receive in the email, if you forget your email or if you've lost your email, something happens, you can always log into your LMS and get in here. You are the Tuesday and Thursday batch, and you'll see all the past sessions are there. You can go in and pick up whichever recording you want to and watch it at your own time. Let's go back. So that's your notes, that's your recordings. What else? There's the assignment. So you didn't think that we take you back to school without an exam, did you? So the assignment is super important. The assignment is how you get to put everything that we are doing into practice. The assignment will take you at least a month to complete. And please be aware that you will only get your Digital Vidya certificate after you've completed the assignment, which is why this is put under lesson 1. The assignment is for the entire program, not just for lesson 1, but it's right there so that you can download the assignment and get started on it the minute the first webinar gets over. So if you go in here, you can download the assignment here. You can download instructions on how to do the assignment and how to complete the assignment and submit it. When you've completed the assignment, you upload your file over here. The Digital Vidya team will receive your assignment. They will correct it for you and they will mark it as complete and you will get your certificate for this program. Clear on this so far? There's also a quiz that you can take. This quiz will grade you, the LMS will grade you, give you its own grade, and you can keep coming back and taking the quiz until you get 100% on the quiz. All of these are things that you can do and should be doing on your own. Clear? And if you have any questions about this, when you scroll down, you can leave a comment over here. I hope you're all clear. Everybody with me so far? Okay, great. Let's look at lesson 2. What does lesson 2 have? Lesson 2 also has the notes and the recordings and a quiz. Lesson 3 has your notes, recordings, and quiz. Lesson 4 or week 4, notes, recordings, and quiz. All of this is available to you, which means feel free to go and read up on the notes even before you come to the session. It'll make a lot more sense to you because then accordingly, when you're listening to me, you'll come at it from a more informed point of view. Your questions will be that much richer then. We can spend our interactive session then in much more evolved questions. There's also some additional resources available to you, and I'm going to leave it to you to look through these on your own after the session is over. Okay? So, what do you need to do once this session is over? You need to go in and download your pre reading material. You need to look at your assignment and get started on it. And you need to access your week one's recording and notes. Now, what happens when you look at the assignment and find that you've forgotten something or something is not getting covered? Does that mean you have to wait till Thursday to reach me? No, it doesn't mean that. You can access something called the discussion forums, which are on the top right of your LMS. If you scroll down, you'll find there are lots of different topics, and right here is email marketing. Any doubt that you have, very likely some other participant has asked already. Look through this and see, they are very, very rich resources. If you don't find what you're looking for, you can leave your own question over here. The Digital Vidya team is looking at this and you will receive an answer within 24 hours. Okay? So you don't need to wait for the next webinar to reach out to me. Your assignment doesn't have to stall because you are on a timeline. So you don't have to wait till then. You can leave your question right here. You can even write to your coordinator and let them know that you have a question and you want an urgent answer on it. Does that sound good? So let's quickly run back and see, do we have everything? So in webinar activities, I'll be taking you through lesson notes. You now know how to access them. Recordings will get mailed to you. Plus, you can access them on the LMS. The reading links are what I'll share with you in the chat window. So maybe what you can do is keep a Word document open. And in that Word document, you can keep copy pasting the links that I'm sharing with you. If you don't get enough time to complete watching the video, you can watch it later. The reading links, you can just copy paste them in. So after this webinar is over, you can go and reference those. Okay. Okay, there's one more last thing. Digital Vidya is very keen to keep this completely updated and keep it a good experience for all of you. So every webinar that we take, we will ask you for feedback. Sometime around 9 o'clock, 9:05, about 10 minutes before the webinar is over, I'm going to give you a form to fill in and I'll give you a minute. It won't take very long. You get to leave your comments and your feedback about that day's webinar. So if there's anything that you think should have been covered and didn't get covered, you can leave it there. If there's some requests that you have, something that you think could have been done better, you can leave it there and the Digital Vidya team is accessing that. You can always, of course, speak to your coordinator. You can also leave it there. I'll be taking a look at it, as will the Digital Vidya team, and we'll try and use the feedback that you're giving. If there's a better way for us to handle your request, we'll definitely try and do that in the upcoming sessions. Okay, and let's remember, this is two ways. My commitment is to make this as good a series for you. I can only do that if you help me to help you. So please fill in all the feedbacks, all the feedback form. I'll be giving you time to do that as well. Okay, can we agree on that? All right, thank you. So now finally, let's get into email marketing. Let's find out what you thought of email marketing. Before we go any further, does everybody here know the word jargon? Just in case you don't, I'm not very smart. I need Google to tell me a lot of things, so I'm going to ask Google what is jargon. And I'm going to read out what Google says. Google says jargon is special words or expressions used by a profession or group that are difficult for others to understand. I want to highlight this bit especially. Difficult for others to understand. What are we doing in this class? We are communicating, right? It's my job to explain certain ideas to you in a way that it's easy and fun for you to know this. And it's your job to answer my questions so that I can do this even better for you, right? So if either you or I use jargon, what are we doing? We're wasting each other's time, right? And I'm sure you're all really important people, so you don't want to waste time. The thumb rule of communication, good communication, is to keep it as simple and easy to understand as possible. We are not here to try and impress anybody with how many big, big words we know. We are here to try and understand something. I'm here to understand about your needs and address those needs. You are here to let me know what your needs are and get that answer from me, right? So, can we agree to not use any jargon? Let's not get trapped in jargon of any sort. As a rule, I try and think about whether a 10-year-old will understand what I'm saying. Everything I do, work, personal life, all of this. If a 10-year-old can understand what I'm saying, then I'm communicating right. All right? Now, keeping that in mind, let's come back and let's hear what you think email marketing is. I just want to get us all on the same page. So, what are your impressions when you hear the term email marketing? And please feel free to be completely honest. You can type it into the chat window. What comes to your mind when you think email marketing? Saswata says marketing by sending emails. Absolutely. Creating awareness about your services through email, marketing through mail, brand awareness of product or service promotions through email, using emails as a medium of advertising, generating leads, attracting, engaging users through email, approaching the audience via email, lead generation, inquiry. So, lead generation sounds a lot like jargon to me. The 10-year-old me doesn't understand lead generation. So, to keep it very, very simple, okay, I like what Anu says, all of the above. Anudeep. Repetitive emails I receive on a daily basis from Flipkart, Jabong. Thank you. That's honest, Solomon. Absolutely. How many of you think email marketing is not a very good way? And why are you wasting your time? Why is Digital Vidya wasting your time on this? You can be honest about it. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to throw you out of the class. How many of you think email marketing is probably redundant or boring? Saswata says it's required for professional purposes. Santosh says no one reads this type of email. True, absolutely. Puneet says I never open any email from sponsored. Anudeep says because we never asked for it, it just pops up. This is great. People, this is excellent because you're all right. These are all very, very valid opinions. And I'm glad to get this out here because this will help me identify which of these are myths, which of these are truths, which of these are stumbling blocks. Because you know what? These opinions that you have are the same opinions that your customers carry. So, how can you get past these blocks? That's what this entire program is going to be about. Srividya is right, social media is the latest form of communication. Kinjal thinks no one's even interested to open these emails. Absolutely. So, thank you for being honest about that. Now, here's my thought, okay? And you don't have to agree with me right now, but think about this, hold this in your mind, and we will keep adding more to this thought with every webinar. In all of digital technology, digital media, digital marketing is the hot new thing on the scene today. It's changing the way we do business, changing the way we live our lives. A lot of you think social media is very hot and very cool. I agree, completely agree. I've come into this field via social media. I think it's the cool new kid on the block. Social media is less than 10 years old, which means there are a lot of new exciting frontiers to be experienced. Google and search marketing is maybe 10, 12 years old, possibly. So we are still figuring out. Email is the grandfather of all of these. Because you know how old email is? Email is 25 years old. Email is older than some of the people in this class. Not me, I'm older than that, I'm very old. I'm 100,000 years old. But email is older than some of you. And you know why this is a good thing? Because it means that most of the mistakes that people make on this have already been made. How many of you are seeing, all of us are seeing this, no? Every week there is some case of some brand that goofed up on social media, something, Facebook downtime, Google leaks, some algorithm has been changed. Every week there's something happening because these are all newer technologies and the world is still figuring out. Exactly, the world is still figuring out how to deal with these. When was the last time you heard of a major glitch when it came to email? The last time I heard of something like this was 3 years ago, and that was not an email glitch, it was a Google glitch, which itself is rare. Y2K, I'm so happy to hear that. Most people don't even know what Y2K is, right? Now, here's why that's a good thing. Because let's remember that as marketers, we are taking business actions. That means that there's a lot riding on this. This is not a lottery ticket. There's a lot of time, money, and effort we are putting in. So something that's surefire and that has been smoothened of all the problems and kinks is something that's worth considering, right? A lot of people thought that when television was introduced, people would stop reading. That hasn't happened, right? The internet has come in and still print is still going strong. It may have changed, but it is still there, right? So email is a lot like that. Okay, that still doesn't make it exciting. I get that. I completely get that. Let me ask you another question. How many of you have ever had the experience of teaching maybe your mother or your father, your grandmother, grandfather, uncle, aunt how to use YouTube? Has anyone here done that? Or how to use WhatsApp, right? All of us in this generation we have that experience, right? Does everybody here know at least one person who's not on Facebook? Does everyone here know at least one person who doesn't use Google? My mother still doesn't use Google. She knows how to use it, but when she's lost somewhere, she calls me. She doesn't use Google Maps, right? We all know people like that. Now, when you're setting someone up on the internet, what is the first thing that you do for them? What is the first thing that you need them to do? And even if that's not the first thing, how many people here use smartphones? Do your family members also use smartphones? You don't need a Facebook account in order to use a smartphone, but you need a Gmail account to operate an Android phone, right? Even if you don't use email. This means that email is most people's first stop on the internet. This means that if the entire digital population were a planet, email would be the most populated country. You do, Anudeep. You need a Gmail account in order to operate all the features of Android. This means that there are way more email accounts than there are Facebook accounts, than there are Google searches, even. Is that of interest? As marketers, we are looking for people, right? We want more people. We want to go where the crowds are. Isn't that what we are all chasing? More numbers, more audiences, more customers, more users. Did that make all of you sit up? Has email gotten suddenly a whole lot more interesting? You could say that. That's a good way of putting it, Solomon. Absolutely. Okay, that's okay. You still don't need to be as excited about email as I am. It's my job to excite you through the next few sessions. Why don't you visit this website right now? I'm sharing the link in the chat window. Please click on it. It is, right, Anudeep? Absolutely. Scroll to the top right. There's a very, very interesting number there. And then scroll down. I think so. I think it's a pretty credible source. By the time I finish speaking this sentence, the number of emails being sent has probably doubled. Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome. So everyone is sitting up. We need to be part of this action, right? Emails are the highest. So, yes, but that said, everything that all of you said is also super important. So, not to worry, Manoj, maybe you can try refreshing, or maybe after the session is over, you can go and visit it. It just basically contains live updated stats of number of Google searches being done at this moment, number of emails being sent, and so on and so forth. Emails being sent is the highest number. But that said, everything that all of you said is also true. A lot of us are not interested in those very, very spammy emails anymore, right? We delete them without even looking. Now, here's one more thought: the emails that you've been deleting and that you don't like are marketing emails that don't do their job properly. The really good marketing emails are ones that you are not even noticing that they've come into your mailbox, you've opened them, taken the action required, and gone on with your life. You have not remembered them. A marketing email is not meant to be Shah Rukh Khan. You are not supposed to remember the email for years later. It's supposed to slide in, do its job, and slide out without your realizing it. How to do that is what will form a big deal of our webinar series. Not today's, but the upcoming webinars. This is just a thought. I don't need you to believe me right now. Just stay with me and you'll see where I'm going with that as well. Okay? Let's take a look at these two emails. Do these look a lot like the kind of emails that you see? Do these look like marketing emails? So, Srividya, you know what to do? No, it's not an infographic. These are screenshots of two different emails. Both these emails look perfectly fine, right? As far as marketing emails go, they've got the tagline, they've got fancy pictures, they've got the brand name, and so on and so forth. Now, the trouble is, neither of these emails reach their intended recipient. You want to know why? Here's a scary statistic. Out of that amazingly high number that you saw on Internet Live Stats, 20% of those emails are never going to reach the mailbox. So, what is happening to these 20% emails? 20% is a very, very large number. That means all those emails that you saw shooting by, 20% of them, yes, some of them do. And we're going to address what that means as well. But why? What is happening to them? Are they just getting lost in space? And how can you ensure you are not one of them? Let's first understand what's happening to them. And that is what our Thursday session is going to be about. We are first going to start off by understanding why emails may not reach the mailbox. Because before we figure out what we are going to say, how to get readers in, and all, we need to figure out our journey first, right? Think of email like this very fancy new car. Now, before you learn how to ride the car and all of that, you need a map of the place. If you're going to learn how to ride a car and then you take it out and you discover that you're on a mountaintop with very bad roads, you don't want to crash, right? So, you probably want to take a walk around first and look at the terrain of the world that you're in before you start riding your car. So, Thursday's session is going to be about something called deliverability, which is the science of emails getting delivered or not. We'll address questions like how can I avoid getting marked as spam? Why are my emails not reaching the mailbox? What are all the reasons? And how can I get started? How can I avoid all these pitfalls? Here's a little sample. This is one of those emails that did not make it to the mailbox. I'm going to expand this so you can see it. It says mksaxena1970 at gmail.com has sent you $20. Open for details. mksaxena1970 at gmail.com has sent you $20 to try the all new Empower. Receive your $20. Your Empower account was reserved for you. In order to store your gift, however, you must agree to the terms and validate it before creation. By accessing your account via the links or buttons, you are both validating, stipulating you're 18 or older, signing up, having agreed with product terms and privacy policies, and so on and so forth. How many people here would have clicked on this button? If you had seen this in your mailbox, how many people here would click on this? You wouldn't, right? Most of us who are smart about this are not going to click because we know that this is a dangerous email. The technical term for an email like this is phishing. Phishing emails are emails that are trying to trick the recipient into sharing sensitive information. You know that already. When you click on this, it could install a virus, it could install a keystroke tracker, which means it is tracking what keys you type in when you're putting in your passwords and so on and so forth. Someone will be able to steal sensitive information like your passwords by sending an email like this if you are not careful. So the first is something called a phishing email. Phishing emails get weeded out. The second is an email like this. Now, what do you think is wrong with this email? Anudeep, I'll address questions in the Q&A. Stay with me in the interactive session. Okay? Stay with me. Do you see anything majorly wrong with this email? This email looks mostly fine, right? It's got your typical advertisement type of picture, button, clearly. Okay, one of you has unmuted yourselves. Request you not to do that because the connection will destabilize for everyone if you do that. Please don't take yourself off mute. There are 25 people in the room. The connection will immediately destabilize if we've all got voice streaming. Okay? No, that is not why it didn't reach. Google doesn't have a problem. Mailboxes don't have a problem with marketing emails. We are able to access free email services because marketing emails are possible. The problem with this email, the problem with this email is look at the sender name. I'm going to make it big so you can read it. It says ICICI Lombard. The email address is support@efashionguru.com. Who here thinks that ICICI Lombard would send out an email from an address like this? They are not related. This is someone pretending to be ICICI Lombard. Now that's a major problem, right? This is a counterfeit email. This kind of email is called a spoofing email. So this is an email from a forged sender address. And a staggering number of people fall prey to both kinds of emails every year, which is why email systems have a lot of protective measures in place to try and ensure that emails like these do not reach the recipient. The tricky bit is these measures are very stringent, and sometimes you or I might make a mistake and our emails might get caught in these same measures, which is why we need to understand exactly how these measures operate so that we can make sure that we are not getting mistaken for these emails. And that's what we are going to cover on Thursday. Here's another scary statistic. 45% of all those emails that will be getting sent are spam. Everybody here is familiar with the term spam, right? But just in case, I would still like all of you to read this article later. It's useful because it defines exactly how Gmail sees spam. You might find a few surprises in here. Please make a note of this article and read it after the session is over. Has everyone got the link? You can scroll up and down on the chat window, by the way. So if it scrolls fast, don't worry. You can just scroll up and you'll see the link. Okay? Isn't this true? Let me ask you. Everybody here goes to work, goes to college, goes out of the house every day, right? Every day when you get out, you see maybe 5 or 6 hoardings at least. Maybe you listen to the radio while you're on the road. The radio is playing ads. You open a newspaper or a magazine, there are ads there. You switch on the TV, there are ads running there. You open your mailbox, there are promotional emails and there are ads running inside your mailbox. You do a Google search, there are ads. You open your Facebook, there are ads. You'll pick up your phone and there are advertising messages there, as well as call centers calling to offer you loans and whatnot. In a day, how many marketing messages do you think you're being exposed to on an average? Oh, yeah, absolutely. 40, I would say that's conservative, Vamsi. I think it's closer to hundreds. And how many of these do you remember in the last 24 hours? Do you remember three brands that have sent you marketing messages in some format or some media? Do you? I know I don't. And I'm a marketer. My job is to look at all this, and even then, two or three maybe. Mushkil se. With a lot of difficulty, maybe you remember this. This is the state of our customers as well. So, what do marketers do? We shout louder, bigger advertisements, more advertisements. That's what marketers are doing, right? More emails, more ads. And when that fails, after a while, it just becomes noise. So, we start discount, offer, coupon, buy one, get one free. Isn't this what all of us do, regardless of industry? Let me ask you one simple question. As a marketer, is it your job to earn money or is it your job to spend money? At the core of it, earn money, right? Each of these is a way to spend money. If I give a 25% discount, I'm earning 25% less. So, why are we doing this? Yeah, that's all what we try and tell ourselves to try and make ourselves feel better. But we are earning less. We are not doing our job as well. Because after a while, how much can you keep undercutting? I'm going to offer 25%. You are my competitor. You will offer 30% discount. So I'll say 50% discount. You'll say 75% discount. I'll say 90% discount. What next? You'll say I'll give it to you for free. Neither of us can do business after that. Right? This is not helping. I'm not going to say that completely stop this. There might be a time when you need to do this, but discounts and offers and coupons are the absolute last resort. I want to say that discounts are the ideas of a very unimaginative marketer. And an unimaginative marketer is a bad marketer because marketing is all about having imagination, keeping people interested. I fell in love with marketing 15, no, almost 20 years ago, and I've never fallen out of love with it simply because it's so much fun. It's about constantly keeping ahead of people. I can't do that if I keep falling into formula and going with the last stitch option. So let's set aside discounts and promotions and things like this because let's remember our job is to earn money. Is that impossible? I'm going to tell you it's absolutely not impossible. So, our session, oops, actually, I think it's skipped. By the way, session 3, which is going to be next week's Tuesday session, is going to talk about content, how to design a good email. But keeping this in mind, session 4, which is next Thursday's session, is going to look at how to make sure this beautiful looking email is actually adhering to our business objectives. Because let's not forget, we are not doing this in order to display our email in an art gallery. We are not doing this in order to win a Pulitzer Prize for, oh my God, you're such a wonderful writer. Why are you here in this program? You're here to learn how to make more money for your businesses. Yes or no? I'm not even going to apologize if that sounds crass. Because this is a business class. And the purpose of any business is to make money. And you have to learn how to do that better. If I don't show you how to do that better, I'm not doing my job right. Right? So, next week, Thursday, we are going to talk about how to optimize it, how to make completely sure that our emails are business activities, and how to make sure the email is achieving the business activity. Here's another video for all of you to watch. Watch and please let me know when you finish. Say done when you're done, okay? Okay, great. Everyone back? Excellent. In week 3, I'm going to take you through a demonstration of a tool called MailChimp. MailChimp is an email marketing, email service provider. It's a very, very useful tool. It's a very popular tool for email marketers. MailChimp lets you do a lot of things. MailChimp lets you design really nice, fancy emails. It also lets you track who is opening your email, who is reading your emails, what about the email they are liking, which of it they are clicking on, and so on and so forth. So MailChimp is really, really useful. MailChimp offers free accounts and they also have some paid features. I'll take you through a demonstration of MailChimp in week 3. MailChimp is part of your assignment, so you can actually already go and get started once this webinar is over. Set up your MailChimp account and start doing it, because then by the time we reach week 3, you'll have figured out exactly what you want to do and how to do it best. We'll address that in MailChimp. Okay. Here's an interesting little infographic that I found online. And it says that for every $1 you spend on email marketing, you get $44.25 in return. How is it possible for them to mark with such accuracy? This is possible because on digital, everything is trackable. And remember what I said about email being the oldest technology? This also means that a lot of very intelligent people and very brave people have spent many years trying out different combinations before they've been able to figure out exactly what different statistics mean. What it means when people click on a particular link, what it means when they take a particular action. And given all of this, it is now possible to map back and actually narrow it down to which email earned you how much money. So, this is the kind of return on investment possible using email marketing if you do it right. Which means that here's myth number 1 busted. Email marketing is not bombing random addresses with a single email. Remember what I said about the emails that you're thinking of? Those are bad emails. Those are not good marketing emails. They are not doing their job right. You're noticing them because they are not doing their job right. Email marketing is not about sending out advertisements or posters. And you'll see why that is the case. Email marketing is not about bulk mailing or mass mailing. You don't need a class to teach you how to do that. Bulk mailing just means I just need a list of several hundred email addresses. I just need to pick up an advertisement and bombard it to all of them. Most of those people will not even get the email. Of the people who get the email, many of them will not even open it. They'll just delete it without reading. Doing that is not how you will get this ROI that I showed you on the previous slide. So, what exactly is email marketing then? Email marketing is using email to establish a conversation, build loyalty, and nurture, engage readers into prospects. Now, this is a lot of jargon here, so don't worry about it. I just want you to read through this, and I'm going to bring up this definition in our last webinar again, and you'll see whether this makes sense to you or not. Got it? So, a few thoughts for you to don't worry about it, Manoj. This is only an orientation. This is just to seed a few thoughts before we start the actual lessons. Okay? So, email marketing is not about those bombarding random email addresses with bulk mails. Email marketing is about a conversation. A very important thing about a conversation is it takes two people to have a conversation. In a conversation, you need to speak but also listen. Loyalty is another thing that you never hear about in bulk mailing. Loyalty is what ensures that even much later, after you've stopped offering discounts, if you stopped advertising, even your customers are still loyal to you. Flipkart entered the e commerce field by offering deep discounts. They don't offer discounts anymore, but they are still one of the more popular e commerce sites today in India. That's called loyalty. And loyalty is worth a lot of things, but it takes a lot of effort to build. Email marketing is one of the things that can guarantee you customer loyalty if done right. And finally, nurturing engaged readers into prospects. I'm going to leave this unexplained for you this time because next week we're going to focus entirely on this. Okay? By the time we get to week 3, we are going to be in a position to understand, okay, how do I ensure that my emails get delivered? What should I do to create a really good email and an email that fulfills my business objective? And how do I design all this using MailChimp? Once you're through with all that, we'll be ready to talk about what is my strategy for the next 6 months on email. How do I track it? How do I make it better? What is the customer doing? How can I ensure that my customer is building a relationship with me and moving towards buying my product or service? And what are the big companies like Apple, Dropbox, Google? What are all these guys doing right on email campaigns? I'll bring up the case studies then. I know case studies are things that everyone is very excited about, but the case study will only make sense to you once we've gone through these. So, we have one entire session where I'll take you through 20 different case studies relating to emails. Okay? One quick tip, a big secret when it comes to email marketing. Well, really, this is an open secret for all marketers. To be a successful marketer, you need to understand your customer. It starts right there. When it comes to email marketing, what does your customer want and what do they not want? This is your customer's number one problem with email marketing. Too many emails. One of you said this, right? Flipkart and Amazon, every day they're sending me emails, I delete them. You are a disgruntled customer because they are doing this wrong. Secondly, I don't know who is sending me this. Both of them are the same thing, right, Anudeep? Whether you're getting too many emails from one sender or too many emails from 5 different senders, you don't care. There are too many emails as far as you're concerned, right? Especially if you don't know who they're coming from. I don't know who this person is, and I think one of you also mentioned that. I didn't ask for these emails. Why are you sending me all these emails? Right? They're unwelcome emails. And thirdly, here's the really, really big one. How many of you agree with this? This is not relevant to me. Every week, I get calls from Bajaj Finance offering me loans. Every week. Completely irrelevant to me. We get emails like these, right? Now, I want all of you to consider this. These are not challenges standing in your way. These are not like doors that the customers have shut on you. These are opportunities for you to do it right. If someone is sending too many emails, you're not that guy. If the customer is saying, I don't know who that person is, you're not that person. All this means is you need to make them aware of who you are. You need to be a little gentler with them and not assume that they're just sitting around waiting to hear your marketing pitch. You need to introduce yourself first. And finally, relevance. This is the real biggie. My contention to you is that these two are actually the same thing. Relevance and frequency are the same thing, because if you're really interested in something, let's say you're really interested in movies, you will not mind receiving messages about movies twice a week, maybe even twice a day. Yes or no? Whatever be your interest, right? On the other hand, if there's something that you're absolutely not interested in, such as tractor tires, if you get a message even once in a month, you will find that to be too much, right? So, relevance and frequency go hand in hand. And relevance has a lot to do with familiarity. If your friend says something, you will listen to him or her. But if a total stranger says something, even if it's relevant to you, you're not going to be as receptive to it. So, the first step in getting your strategy right is to think about the customer. We are going to be keeping this in mind all through. Okay, I'm going to start moving this up a bit because we are already at 9:17 and I have a few more things that I want to tell you about. Is that okay? All right. So very quickly, I want you to think about whether any of you have ever done any of this. Have you ever picked up email addresses from any of these places and sent out marketing emails? Some list somewhere, you saw a whole bunch of email addresses, you picked it up and you sent out marketing emails. I'm glad if you didn't, because there is a problem with this. You know what the problem is? You cannot be sending emails to people who've shared their email addresses. Oh, okay, that's great, Anudeep. Thank you for sharing that. So here's an example that I like to give. Let's assume that I'm talking to my friend Dhruv. I'm talking to Dhruv on the phone and I'm saying, "Hi Dhruv, I've moved into a new apartment. You should come and visit and see my new flat sometime." And Dhruv says, "Oh, that's very cool. Give me your address. I'll come and visit you tomorrow." So I start telling Dhruv my address. Anudeep is passing by at that time and he overhears the address. And he comes over to my place. Would that be okay? Would that be appropriate? Highly inappropriate, right? But he overheard my address. That doesn't mean that I was inviting him, right? So when you mail people like these, that's what you're doing. When people have shared their email address here, they've not done it so that you can send them marketing messages. This, by the way, is also illegal. You cannot mail people without their permission. We'll talk about that. We'll touch on that as well in Thursday's session. If you've ever used a bot is a program that performs a particular activity again and again. A harvester bot is a program that can go through the internet, pick up these addresses for you, and send them a bulk mail. If you've ever used that, well, please don't do it again because that's illegal for the same reason. If you've ever thought that let me send an email to random email addresses in the hope that the email address exists, what you're doing is called a directory harvest attack that also does not work. I'm glad if none of you have done this, even if by mistake only. Make sure you don't do any more of this. And here's some reading material around these, even inadvertently, because if you've done any of this, you could get into serious trouble and it could really hurt your chances when you go out as a genuine email marketer. Now, here's a fun idea. This is something called permission marketing. Losers try to convince people that they are thirsty. Winners sell ice water in the desert. I really like this idea because it makes so much sense. If a person is not thirsty, no matter how many advertisements you show them, how loudly you shout at them, how intelligently, however much discount you offer them, they are not going to believe that they are thirsty. This is the customer in today's world. The customer is very empowered, the customer knows a lot. You cannot convince them that they need something that they don't actually need. So, how are you supposed to sell your product? And this is what a lot of marketers are doing today, trying to badger customers into buying. The customer is just going to say, "Please go away. I'm not interested in listening to you." And they'll shut you down. Smart marketers are people who say that, "Let me go to people who I know have a need. If I'm selling ice water, who's interested in my product? People who are in the desert, right? People who are in very, very hot places." Let's use that as an example and think about what this means. Can this apply to every other industry? The answer is it actually can. So, permission marketing means that instead of doing a bulk mailing or a mass broadcast, you narrow it down to people who are actually interested in you. And this means that you really need to understand your customer. What interests them? What are their needs? Because when you identify them and approach them, you will not need to do any convincing. You just need to show them your product and it'll work. Permission marketing, by the way, gets much better responses, much better ROI than the other kinds of marketing. Permission marketing on email gets 20 to 50% response rate, as opposed to the other kind that gets only 1 to 5%. So, permission marketing actually is a lot more efficient for marketers as well, right? Finally, a biggie. I'm surprised none of you have mentioned the word database yet, but I'm sure quite a few of you are thinking about it. Database is a very, very important part of email marketing, right? So, why have I not mentioned it? Because database is more than just a list of email addresses. Remember what I said, that email marketing is not about taking one email and bombarding as many addresses as you can get with it. So, if that's not what it is, what is it? A database is actually a picture of your customer. All these things that I'm talking about, permission marketing, relevance, it's only possible for you to do that if you truly understand your customer. And how are you going to understand them? Your database will help you understand them. We are going to address database, which is very important. We are going to address it in the second last session. And the reason we are leaving it to the end is because we don't want to take away focus from all the other equally important aspects of email marketing, such as content and deliverability. So we're going to spend a good entire week on content. The next session is going to be on deliverability. And after that, we're going to talk about strategy. And finally, in the end, we're going to talk about database, which is how do you build a database? How do you work the database? How do you track the database? And how do you use your database as a roadmap to drive your strategy? We'll also talk about things like segmentation and targeting in week 4, session 7. Are we ready for feedback? Please don't go away yet. We still have another 10 minutes left. Okay, so I'm going to share a link. You know what to do? Please click on the link, take a minute, leave feedback, and come back and let me know when you're done. We're going to have the interactive session after this. I have 2 more slides and then we'll go to the interactive session. Thank you. Let's just wait till the others get done. Okay, so one of you wants more examples? Absolutely, can do. I actually have sessions coming packed up with examples. Where possible, I will have examples. Okay. All right. Is everyone back? Shall I go ahead? Okay, noted. One of you didn't want to waste time on these basics, but just want to remind you that there are 20 people in the class and everyone is coming from a different point of view. You learn as a class, not as individuals. It's very important to bring everyone on the same page. That's why Digital Vidya and I feel the need for this session. Okay? All right, shall we go ahead? Thank you for your feedback though. Noted, for sure. Okay, what about session 8? Session is 8 is where I'm going to demonstrate about 22 different tools. These are tools that will help you with various different tasks in email marketing. I'm going to keep this to the very end because you need to know what terms like deliverability mean, what content means, what progress tracking mean. and exactly where to do each of these things. This will be a practical session, so come prepared for it by then. I'll show you some of those tools. I'll have you run certain activities and exercises. Okay? But our first challenge is how to get into that mailbox. We don't want all this effort to go waste and our email to be part of those 20% which don't reach the mailbox, right? Which get filtered because of some reason or the other. So, our next session, which is on Thursday, is going to be spent entirely on deliverability. It will be a little bit technical. I want to give you a heads up about this. If any of you are worried about it, is there anyone here who's concerned about it's technical? Will I understand that? Anybody here? And feel free to be honest about it. Okay, so thank you, Kinjal, for sharing that with me. I'm going to keep that in mind. Don't worry about it. I'm not an engineer myself and I've made sense of it. I'm going to make it as simple and easy to understand as possible. Okay, there are a few ABCs of things that you will need to memorize, but I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, just stay with me on that session. The notes are there, the recording will be there. If you go through that, I promise you that by next week it'll all make sense to you. I'm not going to get into a lot of technicalities. I'm only going to give you enough to be able to figure out how to make sure your email gets to the mailbox. This is not a class on networking, it's only a class on email marketing. So I just want to make sure that you know how to get your email across there. Okay? So just trust me, like that boy should have trusted his karate teacher. Trust me on the Thursday session. Stay with me and we'll get through this. So here's a list of things that I would like you to do before Thursday. You don't have to call me master. I hope I'm not sounding as strict as that, Dhruv. So here's quickly a list of things. You may want to make a note of these things, and then we'll quickly run into the Q&A. I know a couple of you had questions, and I'm going to address those. So task number 1, please fill in the expectations form right after you finish this webinar, and then you can go and have your dinner. I'm sure a lot of you are very hungry. You would have come back from work. Just fill in the expectations form. It'll only take you 2 minutes. It's there in your emails. Task number 2, and you can do this tomorrow, log into the Digital Vidya LMS. Download the pre-reading material. Please finish reading it before coming on Thursday. This is something I would like you to do every day for the entire month that we are going to be meeting on webinars, okay? Every day, it's very simple. You need to log into your mailbox, your Gmail account, spend 2 minutes looking at your promotions folder and your spam folder. It's not even 2 minutes each. It's only 1 minute each. Just look at it, look at who the senders are, open some of the emails, look at what they've done. There's a very simple reason for this. Your email, your marketing emails will most likely land in your recipient spam folder or promotions folder. You need to know these two spaces like the back of your hand. You will find a lot of your learnings coming from these two places. So keep observing this because I have various activities coming up in the webinars which have to do with this. Okay? And finally, on Thursday, please come back at 8 o'clock with a big smile. And that concludes this webinar. Shall we take questions? Well, it's very important, isn't it, Shashwata? Smiling is very important.